there's a whole world out there that we need to learn on how to go through all this stuff. How to process those traumas and navigate through our lives, you know?
It's like,
maybe we should interview somebody about that.
We should have a fucking psychologist on there.
Yeah.
We spend so much time seeking validation from the external, the outside path, right? Yeah, this inside path is like, I think it feels more right, you know? It's good to have a blend of both, so that both of them can correlate and support each other. But yeah, definitely, we should get someone on here about that. Yeah,
I think that'd be very helpful.
If
For
we get
us.
like, yeah, we're like welcome to our podcast. We're using them for like their information. I'm writing notes. You know what's funny is I do agree. We should get somebody on here with a lot of experience, at least just conversating about these things and like doing this type of work. But it's funny because I've had clients fly in from different states and spend like 2 or 3 days with me
To get work done?
to get some work done tattooing. Yeah, and they'll be at the shop, and after like the first half of the first day, like I find out like they're very spiritual people, and they only came to get a tattoo. You know, they didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. And then like it becomes like a very emotional few days with each other because they become super open. You know, talk about a lot of things, and I'm an open book. Not, I wouldn't say I'm an open book, but I was like willing to share.
Yeah.
And it becomes it can be very emotional and things like that. And at the end of it, like we become like really good friends, and like I'm giving them like my most prized paintings, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I'll see you later. You know, it was like very emotional. You know, it's like, damn, I can't believe I met somebody like that. You know, talk to you, thank you for this like short experience with each other. You know, and they're always at the end, they're like, I only came here to get a tattoo. I didn't come here for this like emotional roller coaster that we had together. You know, and all this. It just makes me laugh because I'm thinking about what we're saying. Like, imagine this guest comes on and they're just thinking this is a professional podcast, and then they're like, "What? Like, why are you guys asking me these questions?" You know, that'd be so. And mark my words, right now, documenting this, that'd be so cool if that's the direction that our podcast goes. You know, at least like, yeah, that'd be cool. You know, yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, we do need it.
There's someone sitting here like, who the hell are you two guys? Like, ask me these questions, you know? Like, yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool to have like a really cool psychologist or like some person of that profession out here and talking to them about it, you know?
Super down.
It'll be like a therapy session. A literal professional therapy session, and then people get to watch me and you in professional therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
we gotta make that happen, bro.
yeah. Because imagine like me and you based off our anecdotal experience and then our limited experience through the knowledge of other people that we've gained over the years, and me and you being open and sharing with each other, like. It has made a huge change in my life, you know? That would be cool to have somebody like really put a different perspective on it and really shine a professional, more experienced light on it, you know? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Cool. And hopefully we can get direct access to those tools.
Yeah.
You know, and live better.
That was one of my goals for doing the whole psychology route and studying psychology and things like that. I want to get certified. I'm actually working on that right now, but one of my goals was, and this might sound ambitious or naive, but I want to get the highest level of education and the most experience I can within this field, at least social psychology and developmental psychology, things like that. And I want to offer free psychology to the world through our platforms and through whatever I can, you know? Because at the end of the day, I know that we don't take nothing with us, man. Or at least, you know, at least it doesn't look like that's how it works, right? And so I want to get this education and constantly give back to people. Because I think that's how you start making the world a better place. It's a self-awareness first. That's like the deep root of it. And our minds, right? And that's like I think I've given up I wouldn't say fucking given up. Yeah, I'm maybe giving up, bro. Straight up, man. I don't care, right? I've given up any ambitious expectations with tattooing. I already got like a cool that. I can't believe I got that far, you know. Yeah. Besides the school and things like that, but I don't think that's where my heart's at, dude. I never cared about that, you know. I just wanted to do cool tattoos. Straight up, that's it, you know. I think my heart is in helping people, bro. And martial arts is one way. Sharing tattoos is one way. But I think psychology, I think that's the way for me, bro, you know. To offer free, healthy psychology tips, at least, you know, here and there. And then just talking to people. Anyone I come across, just sit down and have a conversation with them, you know. That's one thing I find that brings me excitement throughout my days. Is I love sharing a perspective with people and just blowing their minds. But it's not even a crazy perspective that I'm sharing. It's just like I love like their reaction where they're like, I never thought about it like that. Like, what the heck, you know? And it makes me feel good. Because then they start breaking out of like, oh, like why am I thinking like this? Why can't I think of it like that? You know? And that's just like I get a kick out of it. Fulfillment, you know? That's just like scratching the surface of what I think what that discipline and knowledge can do for people, right? Yeah. So sitting here talking to you, my brother, having the capacity to figure out our whys again, you know. I think I could say that pretty confidently now because my mind didn't tell me that. It was my heart, bro, you know. And just like having this whole fucking experience, dude. And just talking about it and like how it's making me feel. I felt really good and I could feel like I could breathe. That was something that told me something that my mind could never tell me. You know? My mind was just a tool of that process. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, you said it right. Like, if we go, we can't bring none of this shit with us.
Yeah.
But we can leave, I guess, some form of our legacy, right? And like what we stood for and how we were.
And your children.
And our children, yeah. How we're remembered.
Yeah.
Right? Hey.
I heard a quote once.
Yeah.
They said that when you can plant a tree without expecting to enjoy its shade or its fruit, that's when you really understand the meaning of life. I've heard that quote before. And it didn't really ring any bells or resonate with me, you know? But I think specifically for that quote, it was just talking about the children. Doing all of this so that the children can enjoy the shade later. And so that they can learn the value of the shade and the hard work that was put into it. and then passing it forward, right? I think that's what that quote meant. But on a broader context, you plant a big tree, and all children after that can enjoy that shade, or whichever children that need that shade, or need those fruits, or need that, you know. That gives a much deeper sense of purpose to life, man. Instead of just like the quick dopamine fixes and things like that, right? I think that purpose is like beyond you, because that's something you don't see, you know. Yeah, man.
Let me check the time real quick. Fuck, dog, hour and a half. I don't feel done though. Do you want to keep going?
Sure.
I feel like, I mean, we could, at the end of the day, we could just split this episode.
Absolutely.
You know, part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
You know, first episode of the year.
Yeah.
Man, there's a.
Thank you for being flexible with that, by the way.
Yeah.
The production stuff. Yeah.
Well, before I get into it, thank you for being open and sharing how your year went.
Well, thank you for listening.
On my side,
Yes.
we have a new addition to the family, our son, and that has tested me quite a bit. And just to be clear, I don't resent him or resent what happened, because I do love my wife and my kids, and I love my family.
I know that without a doubt. Yes.
And it's tested me though, right? Because you know, we do have my mom who can watch the kids here and there, but for the majority of the week, my wife and I watch the kids. And you know, our daughter is 4 now, and so she can do her own thing, right? She can play, she can eat with us, she can do her own thing. And now our son, it's you know, he's a baby. He can't do anything. He needs us for everything, to eat, to sleep, you know, to change diaper. He needs us for every single thing. And so it's been a little tough, right, for both of us, right, because we have low capacity every day. What camera was that? Okay. We have cool. That means this one might be out soon. Oh no, good. Okay.
So you guys have a low capacity?
Yeah, low capacity. Dealing with the day to day. Because you know, first of all we have broken sleep because he's not sleeping through the night yet. And then you know, she wakes up, she goes to work. You know, her job is pretty demanding. She's a teacher. 40 kids every hour, 7 periods a day. So it's a very demanding job, right? And when I'm watching the kids all day, she gets home, I'm sure she's fucking exhausted. And then she gets to watch the kids now. And then on my end, I am tired of watching the kids all day. And whatever energy I got left, I summon and go work an 8-hour shift. And sometimes I sleep at midnight, sometimes I sleep at 3 in the morning. And then guess what? We do it all over again. The kids wake up at 6:30, 7 a.m. on the dot. And, you know, I can't just lay in bed. I gotta go tend to them, you know. And I say it's been testing because, you know, this passion that I have, this dream that I have in the studio, and this music journey, it's all I've ever wanted. And I'm working at it, right? And I feel like I'm being tested because I don't have the capacity nor the freedom to work as much as I wanted to anymore. And again, I don't resent our kids and our new son. It's just it's been testing how bad I want this, right? Am I gonna blame having a kid, to slow my journey? And these are all thoughts that are running through my mind, right? Like, should I give up because I don't have the energy for this? That's how my year's been going recently. And I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it's just, sometimes when you're in your low, you feel those low thoughts, right? Because on the other hand, there's all the fulfilling moments, right? Of seeing him smile and holding him and seeing our kids interact with each other and doing family events and going out and taking random pictures. Like, all of those things are extremely fulfilling, right? It makes everything worth being tested, right? I often tell my wife that our first daughter helped me realize, because of having her in our lives in the beginning, I kind of went through a similar test of like changing freedom and capacity. The first daughter was me figuring out I kind of have to dial back and come back to what I really love doing, right? And now with our son, I feel like this test is, okay, now that I figured that out, how bad do I want it and keep it going? In the midst of capacity changes and freedom changes. Yeah.
Do you feel like your, let's just say, patience has dwindled down as each child has came? Like, your daughter, was first is like, okay, this is the first child, and it's your daughter, obviously, right? And it's like, I will do anything for my daughter, And then, not to say that you wouldn't do anything for your son, but then as like, okay, that first time was like, okay, I had to change my capacities, change my time frames, things like that. And now, again, do you feel like, like that sense of fulfillment in that sacrifice is dwindling down?
Well, the situations are different.
Yeah.
We were living with my mom and my sister.
Okay.
When my daughter was born.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of help.
Yeah.
It was also COVID.
Yeah.
So everyone was staying at home.
Okay.
Right? So things slowed down a little bit, even though we all work from home.
Yeah.
So those cards were a little different to now. We live on our own now, and my mom watches them maybe once a week.
Yeah.
But all of our energy goes to watching them all day long. So the cards are a little different.
Okay.
And with that being said, with it being different, I definitely have lost patience.
Yeah.
For example, like,
It's understandable.
if he cries in the middle of the night, I'm just fucking exhausted, right? My wife is the level-headed one, so she can tend to him and stuff. But there'll be times when I wake up and I'm just like, what the fuck? And like loud, like in the middle of the night. And get like extremely frustrated. And then, he's breastfeeding, right? And my wife is definitely primary caretaker right now.
Okay.
And so he's so attached. And like there are times where I can't even get him to calm down.
Yeah.
Or comfort him unless she does it. And now I feel guilty that I can't do it because now my wife should be getting sleep too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a different situation with our son now. But my wife and I often come back to the thought of like, this is temporary, right? And like Abramate said, if the kid is crying, go hold him, right? It's gonna help. He's gonna know that he has a good foundation. He's gonna grow better. He's gonna be a better foundation. And you know, every other day that reminder comes in, I'm like, okay, we'll be okay. You know.
Thank you for all that context, dude. Yeah. One of my personal biggest joys throughout the week is popping in here, seeing you in here when you're free, and then hearing about your life, because it gives me like this the way I'm seeing is like outside view of the world, you know. At least from your lens, you know. And then when you talk about your family and things like that, it makes me happy. Just to hear those things and sit here and talk about it right now, and that is completely understandable, bro. To be tired, you know. I'm gonna say this as a means of providing relief, because I know that it's helped me. It's okay to resent your kids, bro. It's okay to have that emotion and that feeling. I think so. Doesn't mean that that's the law and absolute truth right then and there. But to allow ourselves to feel certain types of emotions like anger or like frustration and things like that, resentment and things like that. It's okay to really feel it and then let those things process out. And then as we live in that emotion, if it's not really truly how we feel and what's going on in front of us, it will snap out of it. But only as we let that emotion digest and give it space to breathe. Let that person in the room talk.
That person scares me though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that person talks and you can be really loud.
Yeah.
And take over the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how this happened with like these last 2 years or so. I notice when I get to a level of like frustration or overwhelming, I'm at a situation, whether it's with, you know, low capacity or the kids, you know, messing with my well-being, you know, or like a random disagreement with my wife, you know, or something. I don't know why these last 2 years, but like that loud voice that comes in unleashes and like, and not on like my family, but like at least on myself. Like I would randomly punch myself, and it's not like a little slap either. It's like grown man punch, and like sometimes to the dome. And I was like, where the fuck is this coming from?
You're frustrated.
Yeah, and I don't know where it's coming from. And I don't know how, because it just happens. It's not like I'm thinking about punching myself.
Yeah.
Just like in a split second, pop. Oh, fuck, that hurt like a motherfucker. Right? It's happened these last 2 years, yeah.
You know, I honestly, bro, like I feel it, bro. Straight up. That's your form of expression. That's how you are letting people around you know, your wife, yourself, you're bottling up an emotion inside. And the only way that you can figure out to express yourself is to hurt yourself physically. To show somebody that you are angry, that you are full of frustration or resentment and things like that. And that's what I'm saying, is like it's okay to feel those things, bro. And you're scared of that person because they could be very loud. But you're holding that person back from talking. And so as you're just bottling up and getting, you have no, it's like all of this water, hot water, is trying to go out this tube. instead of just naturally over time letting it come out, now it's getting so fucking condensed in there, you know? And you just don't know what to do, kind of, right? And I feel like what might help, bro, is like talking to your wife and then telling her like, I'm feeling an emotion right now and I need to get this off my chest. I need to let it out as exactly like how I want to let this out right now. Say whatever the fuck you have, and if she loves you, okay, you let it out. Now let's talk about it. And then over time, you'll be like, wait, okay, I said all those things. Now she's like, okay, you're speaking from the emotion right now. So let's look at the facts of the situation. Then we'll talk about it as you process it. That will let that emotion finally go to rest. Instead of being scared of that resentful person, that frustration person, and not letting him speak. And I don't want to I don't want to use an example like where your kids are a part of it or anything like that, because like the last thing I want to do is like be offensive or anything. But I think it's important because for my own experience, I'll use an example of mine. It's like if I didn't like something that somebody was doing, and I kept holding it in for a long time, eventually when I got to the point where I was just like, instead of being polite about it and like, you know, cordial and like saying certain things, I'd be like, man, I don't give a fuck, like this shit is fucking stupid as fuck, like what the fuck, really angry, like, and I even go to the extent of like, you're a fucking piece of shit, like fuck you, you know, like we're not fucking friends anymore, like you're a piece of shit for fucking doing that, you know, and then they'll be like, if it was a good friend, they'll talk to me and they'll be like, okay, I hear you, but look at the facts of the situation. I was doing these things because of certain this, and you know, there's like different perspectives in here, sharing that. And as long as I let that emotion out and they didn't react with another emotion that was being dismissive, I came to peace with that. Like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm right in certain ways, but you're also right. Like, yeah, you know, like it's cool. I was tripping. Sorry, you know. So it's not even a matter of being sorry. It's just like, okay, no, I understand now, you know. And letting that emotion pass, because the same thing, what I've come to learn from those situations is the same exact reality that's happening in front of you. That's one specific situation. We can have, and within ourselves, different perspectives on it, of that same situation. Here's a situation, different perspectives, right? And it's based on our emotion. Someone can come up to me and hand me a plate of warm food that they cooked. If I'm feeling a good emotion, oh, thank you so much. If I'm feeling a frustrated emotion, like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, why are you coming up to me with this right now? Like, can't you see I'm fucking like busy? Man, no. If I'm feeling emotional and sad, so I'm coming up with, oh my God, like, oh, I haven't had to eat in a long time. Like, oh my God, poor me. Different perspectives on it, depending on the emotion we're feeling. But we need to let those people speak, at least for our own sanity. You know, really say what you have on your chest, and being mature as an adult with your wife and like a peer, right? I wouldn't take it personally. I would not take it personally how you deliver that message or what you had to say, because you needed to get it off your chest in whatever way that you felt was right for you to get some fucking relief, bro. And I wouldn't never hold that against you. Like, it's all good, you know? I don't think your wife would too, so long as like you tell her like, hey, look, this is what I need to do right now. And I think that will provide the most relief for you, brother. It's okay to feel anger and resentment. These are natural feelings. You know?
I'm just curious to like why when those situations happen, like for example, punching myself in the dome at full force, right? Like, if we let that happen, why do I feel like guilty for it happening? Why do I? Because I often categorize it like I don't like being this reactive. At least that's how I word it, right? But like, can it be done differently?
Sure.
So I'm not scared of that version, you know, or that emotion.
I think it goes back to what we were saying in our conversation before. You had to create this person to be accepted and earn love and comfort and understanding. You had to be this orderly, well-sophisticated person to earn this kindness and love and compassion. You have to be responsible husband, father, Dale. This image and this idea that you have created in your head of who that person is. So when you start lashing out, you start using these expressive ways, hurting yourself and these type of things, that's out of the orderly conduct that you think you have to be to earn this respect from your wife and comfort. So you're ashamed of it because we have been programmed to be ashamed of that. The baby crying and not getting picked up, so the baby needs to stop crying. It's the same thing as the grown man who doesn't want to raise his voice or speak his mind because he's not going to get held or loved by the people around him. It's the exact same thing, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead of crying, it's fucking hitting.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, bro. Like, I fucking respect that, bro. You know? Yeah. I want you to know from this point forward, anytime you have a conversation with me, I don't want you to feel like you have to hold back from how you really want to describe something. Because I will never use it against you. Like, talk about it, you know? It's all good. Even if you were to be like, I'm gonna say this on the podcast right now, even if you were to be like, man, I want to go outside and bash some fucking dude's head in. And fuck this guy, you know? He's a piece of shit. I don't fucking like the way he looks. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Just say that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good, man. You should be able to be open to say it, but maybe on a professional setting too. It's like, you know, maybe it's not.
I mean, we've been friends for some years now, and like I think I'm only able to bring this up because we are. Like, I mean, I don't, aside from my wife.
Yeah.
No one else is, well, therapist a few months ago. But like I don't talk about this shit to everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Man. So you're thinking that overreactiveness should just come out and then processed again later?
Maybe change the word. You're not overreacting. What scale is that on? Who's to determine if you're overreacting? That's our subjective disposition on it. I think you're just reacting because you feel some type of way. Saying that we're overreacting, we're dismissing ourselves. Oh, you make a big deal. Oh, just get over it. Just suck it up. Oh man, what the just suck it up. You decided to be a father. Like, just suck it up. I could be that person to sit here, but I'm not, because I don't feel that way. I'm sure if you're sitting in front of other people, they might say that too. Being a man, being a father, just fucking suck it up, dude. No, dude. That's not healthy, man. Because those are probably the same type of dudes that are going out there cheating on their wives and fucking getting hammered all day and beating their kids. They're gonna have to listen and they'll have to learn, you know? No, man. That's not the way to go, dude, you know? Yeah. I don't think you're overreacting. I think you're just expressing yourself, bro. And you should be able to do so fucking freely before it comes out in ways indirectly and limits you from enjoying life and smelling the flowers, bro. Because when you encapsulate that person, that emotion, I think you're doing it to all your emotions. Straight up, you know. And I know the goal is to live a fulfilling life, right? To feel things again and to not be numb. This is a huge part of that. If you want to feel joy and satisfaction, you have to feel anger and frustration. You cannot have one without the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Just because you suppress one thing doesn't mean you're going to not suppress all the others.
Exactly. I guess maybe you can learn over time as you release it to like, okay, I don't need to like take it on as much. Because even being overly joyful could be unhealthy. You know? Like the house is fucking burning down and everybody's dying inside of it. I'm saying, oh man, this is great. That would be unhealthy, right? So, yeah. And I actually have a friend like that who spoke to me about that quite some time ago, where she said that she knows herself so well and she is terrified of being happy because she gets too happy about something and too optimistic, and it doesn't meet up to that standard, and then she gets super depressed. Like, and she has a habit of doing that, you know? And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah, so I just try not to even think about being happy. Because I'm just going to let myself down because I set this super unrealistic expectation. You know? And I was like, damn, that's insane. But yeah, man. I think yeah, letting it out. And I think if you talk to your wife, because dude, I'm just hearing about her and like your relationship over these years, she's like a very understanding person, a very like caring person. She loves you, right? I think just letting it all out, at least in the beginning, like just let it out at least once, fucking raw and uncut at whatever tone and level you want to let it out, and just reassure her that like this is just you letting this out right now, and you want to process this thoughts with her and talk about it after. And as long as that's like clear and you actually take this time to sit down and talk about it after, I think you'd be straight, bro. You know? Yeah.
That kid's crying, man.
Yeah, bro. And I think it's just as important for you as it is for your kids, bro, that you do that for yourself, so that you can be one more authentically yourself and present and enjoy the experiences with them. Because them growing up and you being their father, they're going to remember all of the experiences they have with you. I think the thing that would make me the most sad if I was the kid was that my dad didn't remember the experiences that he had with me. You know, like in terms of like the emotional investments and things like that, you know? If like there was a significance in their life growing up and it was like mind blowing for them, it was such a good time, you know? And then it would pain me for my dad to tell me that like, oh man, I wasn't really feeling anything there at that time. Like I just there just to make you happy, you know? I wouldn't want that for my father, you know?
I mean, that is one of my like biggest fears, is not remembering the times when they were small or something,
Yeah.
because of, thinking about work while I'm with them, or at work thinking about them.
Yeah.
Like working towards being present. Yeah.
I think so just even talking to you, it's like a blend of both things, right? Personal and work too, because obviously there's a lot of suffocating things at work happening. You should just start being honest in both places, but in a professional work setting, like that's the tricky one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like that's a tricky one right there, because like as much as of a close relationship you might have with the people in your workplace, there's still people in your workplace.
Yeah, they only see the version that you allow them to see.
Yeah. So we go like, dude, I fucking think you're a fucking stupid piece of shit. Like, ooh, they might call fucking a lawsuit on you.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like the like being honest on how you feel at that moment and stuff.
Yeah. It's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like saying it. Actually, no. And I'm by no means an experienced therapist, right? But saying it. It's just saying it out loud. I think the first few times, in whatever tone and expression that you want, right? And for those specific subjects and topics, later on, then we can start saying it in different ways with it conveying the same message. It's like a little kid that is screaming and using profanity to get what he needs. But as he's maturing, he's like, oh, I don't have to scream for that. I could just be like, hey, please, can I have one? But
you got to go through it though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to go through it. Yes.
Instead of not allowing it to come through, you would never get to that spot.
Exactly. And this is exactly inner child work, bro. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Taking care of the inner child. Because that's who's screaming, Yeah.
3 pillars.
Yeah. This is my favorite episode. So far. For sure. Yeah.
Well, cheers to being vulnerable, man. Don't do it that often.
I'm grateful to be just expressed on here and have this conversation. And to all the people who may be listening to this podcast at night on your headphones or in the car driving to work or whatever, yeah, man. If anybody out there is listening to this and feels like they want to share whatever thoughts that you have, get all of it. Even if you think it's ugly what you have to say or good or whatever, like share it with us, I want to read it. I really want to hear what you guys have to say, Self-expression, dude. That has been a huge reason and why it was so hard for me to recreate my relationship with art and drawing and things like that. Sure, I've drawn here and there and like painted and stuff like that, but it's like learning how to express myself, like honestly, through it. It's been a challenging process. The other day when I first started my big painting, and I really wanted to just dedicate my time, like I felt like the capacity, the good energy. I was like, cool. And I've had this painting boards for 3 years, bro. And I finally was like, you know what? I think it's time. I'm just gonna be I'm an inch into this, I was just fearful of like what was gonna happen, right? A lot of like mixed emotions, things like that. And I started this painting about sobriety. And in my head, I had the painting mapped out. Because through our conversations, it's like, I imagine like a black background, right? Pitch black. And inside that pitch black background, there's flowers growing out of it. Nurturing that garden within inside of yourself. And I was going to do like a tethered garden, like growing more beautifully. And there was like levels. So there's like platforms, like on top of each other. And then as the platforms go up, there's a vine with flowers growing up, and the top is the best one, you know? So like the levels of sobriety, the levels of yourself. And I was sketching it out, bro. And as I was sketching it out, I was feeling an overwhelming sensation of anger. Yeah. I was drawing it, and I was just like, fuck, dude. Because it was giving me emotion. First, it was like kind of like a mix of anger and like sadness. And then it just became like a raging, like, fuck this, you know? Because then it started taking me back to those early years where I first started trying to go sober and stuff. And I was just so disappointed in myself. I could feel nothing but shame, dude. And I looked at the fucking painting, dude, and I literally wanted to fucking punch it through the wall. And I had to put the pencil down. I looked at it, and I was just like, all this emotions, you know? And that's one of the things I was scared about, dude. About doing art. And being genuine with it. Because I didn't know what kind of emotion was coming out. And when I was doing the painting, like, that emotion was just like, fucking shooting out of me, bro. You know? As much as I put on the mask, like, okay, cool, like, let's hope today's gonna be a great day. Let's try to work out and do all these things, you know? And this was like, I was really in my element. I was just like, fuck this, you know? Like, who the just putting myself down and stuff. And I ended up getting black paint and just fucking throwing it all over this fucking canvas, you know? Because I don't want to look at the shit. And so I had to do another painting. A more like philosophical, technical painting. And that kind of just like kept it in the technical realm instead of like the imaginative realm, the deep realm, right? So okay, got that out of my system. Cool. It was a cool painting. Like I spent my time there. And then I went back to doing my expressive painting. And I started this new canvas. And I was looking for references online because I was like, dude, if I sit here and I try to just draw what's in my heart, like I'm gonna end up fucking like burning this place down, you know? So okay, let me just look up some references. And I found a reference of like people like being very upset and angry and frustrated, you know? I just type in fucking angry people, you know? And there's a lot of different emotional paintings. And then I seen one where there's a person and he's crouched down with like his hands folded, his head into his hands, and you can't see his face. And it's not a realistic painting either, you know? It's like a little bit more abstract, whatever, but you could just see the emotion in this. And I was like, damn, like that is fucking amazing. Like I like that expression, you know? So I took that reference of that posture, that pose, and some of the palette colors, and I started drawing it onto the painting. And once I had the pencil layout down, I started adding in the colors, dude. And at first, it was just like muted colors. It was like kind of like soft browns and tones and purples and stuff, whatever. I said, okay. And then I started adding in the reds. And then I started adding more and more red. More and more and more and more and more. And then now my fucking painting is just glowing red. And I had like this aura around him. I was just like, fuck, dude. And I was looking at this. And I was like, damn. Like, that's exactly how I feel right now. And I was so angry, dude, when I was doing it. When I finished, dude, literally, like, I normally try to hold on to my paintings and stuff for a long time. Or, like, at least for a little bit so I can enjoy it. And literally, as soon as I finished that, I sat within the next 30 minutes and I went onto social media. I was like, this is for sale. I don't want to look at this anymore. Because if I keep this in here, like, it's just going to make me fucking go bananas. And by the grace of God, like, somebody instantly was like, hey, man, like, I'll take off here. So just because I don't have people around me to express myself. Because at the gym, I have to keep it professional, cordial. In my classroom, for sure, I have to. It's my bread and butter, right? And then with you, like, you know, we always have such great conversations. And you have never given me a reason to, like, want to get into that mode, you know? And I appreciate that. But then when I'm by myself, dude, and I have nothing to say to anybody, like, when I'm just in my own thoughts by myself, I'm very uncomfortable with myself, you know? I'm very angry, right? And so when I express it through the board of the art, that's my way of screaming, you know? And it was a process, man. To finally sit down, I was like, all right, dude, let's do this, you know? It was a big step for me. And I almost didn't make it through the first round, you know? Yeah. I still haven't made it through, to be honest, you know? Yeah. I wanted to do it because I bought a bunch of new canvas boards, big ones. But I've just been staring at them. Because I was like, fuck, dude, like, I don't want to go through that process again. Because that lingering rage when I was drawing it and painting it, that rage lingered on for like 2 or 3 weeks, bro. Damn. It's like still there, you know? Like that opened up a whole can and I literally was like, oh, dude, like I'm fucking tripping out right now, you know? Like I'm so fucking angry right now, you know? And yeah, man. It's very difficult, my relationship art, you know? Yeah.
Do you think, again, outside looking in, do you think you have to go through that though for you to be able to get to the art you need to get to?
Yes. I'm not even, I want to come to a place of like serenity with my art. When I just sit there and everything's just like cool, at peace, man. I create beautiful things just effortlessly and really be proud of it, you know? Like that's what I want to get to. But right now it's like I'm creating, I'm just fucking frustrated as fuck, bro, you know? And it was hard because some of the other paintings that I did, people were hitting me up like, bro, like that's a masterpiece. Like, I can't believe you did that. Like, wow, that's so fucking nice, you know? And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, no, man, you don't understand. Like,
the emotion attached to it.
I'm fucking raged, you know? Yeah. I think it's a process. That's part of the process, bro. But maybe not even looking at it in terms of like reaching a destination. It's like this is all just the pool of it right here. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm honestly expressing myself. Yeah. We'll do a couple more like that. Next one's gonna be like that, yeah.
You're gonna have to touch on this again someday. To see where that led you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah. No, thank you, bro. Thank you for listening. Like, damn, you're the first and only person I have told that to. Mm. Shut up. Yeah.
It's all love, bro. Let's call it.
Let's call it, bro. Thank you, everybody.
3Pillars. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Bro, that's 2 episodes, man.